Hi YouTube folks, so this is my John Deere 445, and if you know my other videos, I've got about 50 of them. There's a couple out there where I talk about a couple of years ago when the engine in this 445 seized in brutally cold weather. My fault really. I didn't take the right precautions. The oil, I started it in about, I don't know, it was minus 20 or something degrees. It started up fine, but the oil pump failed on me, and of course the engine seized. Then I had it stranded out in the snow for like the full winter, and during which time a tree came down on it. Anyway, I've got most of that documented in my videos, including the taking out of the original engine, and then the installation of this engine. Now this engine is one that I purchased during those winter months on eBay, and did a rebuild on this engine so that I had a new engine to pop straight in the spring, which I did. So what I've just discovered is some footage, a clip that I did back a couple of years ago when I was rebuilding this engine, which now has, I've put 140 hours on it since I rebuilt it, and it's been going fine. So there are videos I've already done that show the when I took the engine out and put the engine in, but I didn't show anything of the actual rebuild itself. So I'm going to post now within this video some footage I did, as I say, 2 years ago. Now in the meantime, there is also I will be doing some video on the original engine, which is on my bench, all stripped down. The engine that was seized, all stripped down, ready for reassembly, because at some point I'm going to put the original engine back in here. But anyway, in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this this clip of the rebuild. So this is the Kawasaki FD620D engine that goes in obviously these are in 425s and 445 Deeres that I've been working on. I purchased it. I paid $550 on from a vendor on eBay. I think it cost me about another 80 bucks or so to ship it here, and I bought it as a running motor. I was told it had 800 hours. I decided, since I couldn't just drop it into my tractor immediately because it's got to be done outside, and the weather was just too severe, I decided to open it up and take a good look, and I'm glad I did, because I found some wear in there. In all honesty, I would anticipate that it's got more than 800 hours on it, but nevertheless, it not too much damage or anything, or too much wear. So I took it apart. My basic concern was one of the pistons had some slack in the chamber, in the cylinder, sorry, and I thought I might need to do a rebore, but when I started doing all the measurements, and obviously you do need the right tools for all this kind of thing, for micro measuring everything, I found that the tolerances weren't too bad at all. In fact, we were in operating service tolerance. So what I did was I stripped everything down, put new rings in, cleaned everything up. Obviously a lot of carbon and gunk deposits on the pistons, in the combustion chambers, and on the valves, and cleaned them up, reseated the valves, and checked obviously everything for wear, tappets, rocker gear, all the bearings, all the journals, and that sort of thing. Everything checked out okay. So basically I've replaced all the seals, and I'm replacing all the gaskets, and as you can see, I'm well on my way to reassembly at this point. Not too far to go really, and I think everything checked out okay. No nasty cracks or in the block or on the heads. The heads look nice, and they didn't need planing or anything like that. They seem fine. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this back together as soon as I get a dry day with temperatures that are going to make it possible. I'm going to switch this engine out, switch out the engine that's in the Deere 445 right now, seized, and put this one in. Then I'm going to take a good look at that one, and hopefully I'll be able to do an easy rebuild on that one, and then I'll have either that one to put back in and pull this one back out, or it just depends, or because it might be nice just to keep the original in my 445, but or just leave this one in and hold the other one as a spare, or possibly even sell it. In fact, if anyone's interested in buying a recon engine, I might have one available in a few weeks. So that's the story here. It's nice actually to be able to do have the time to not just repair or rebuild, but to actually have the time to clean it up nicely and do all the little things that make a difference. So she's looking pretty good. One thing I did find is, and I'm sure other John Deere owners are aware of this, you can save a lot of money in parts by actually buying directly the Kawasaki parts rather than buying them as John Deere parts. Kawasaki spare parts seem to be at a lower price point than the equivalent John Deere ones. I guess John Deere basically just takes the Kawasaki parts and then puts their margin on top of that. And I've been buying my parts, and then by that I mean, you know, rings and gaskets and seals and that, from ATV Works. I think they're down in Arkansas. They seem very good. Their prices are really good in terms of discounts and that sort of thing, and they're very friendly and helpful there. So I can recommend those guys, certainly in my experience so far with them. So there she is. Again, had a really good cleaning. This, I don't know if this was an original steel camshaft unit on this, but whether it had been changed at some point or whether it was one of the original ones, but it's certainly, it's all steel, which was good. And I was told that when I bought the engine. But again, you know, I was pleased not to have to bore out the cylinders and buy new pistons and oversized rings. All I had to do was buy new rings. All the tolerances at different measurement points were just inside the operating tolerances. One on this side at the very top was like a borderline, but I decided to go with it because it was, you know, it wasn't, I don't think that would be a problem. So here we are, and obviously water pump, new pieces going in that, manifold. I've also got the injection unit that came with this, so I'll have a second injection kit for this. Yeah, and the stator I have as well. Flywheel I'm going to use off of my own tractor. So there we are. When it's, I'll close this out now, but when I'm in the process of pulling the other motor and putting this one in, maybe I'll put them in another video. Hope that people find this interesting and helpful. Take care. Okay, so that was the engine I rebuilt that's currently in the 445. This is the original engine that I pulled with 929 hours on it at the time. It's been sitting here there for a couple of years. I stripped it down, cleaned it up, got some replacement parts for it. It was in pretty good shape, actually, much better shape than that engine that I rebuilt to replace it. And it's sitting here now waiting for me to do a reassemble. So hey, you know, maybe doing this little video now will encourage me to get on and finish this engine off, and as I do, I will post some more clips. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please give me a like, and better still, subscribe if you don't already subscribe. I've got about 50 of these videos up, it's free to subscribe, and I do this for fun and I enjoy it, and it's always good to get feedback. Anyway, have a great day, and please stay safe.